You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We do not have any new callers today, so why don't we go ahead and get started with Omar.
Hey, what's going on? It's Omar the Firefighter. How y'all doing?
What's up?
Well, our draft is over. I'm sure a lot of people have called. I didn't even call first. Like anything, I decided to take my time, think about it. This was a real interesting draft because there was not a lot of superstars in the draft, but it was a lot of, solid players. And there's two things I wanted to mention. First is, I guess our first, all the first four picks, I guess, I was kind of like, all right, I can see why. Nobody, I think, maybe one person I'm not going to go over right now, that we drafted, I was like ecstatic about.
Yeah.
But it made sense, so I wasn't mad. Then our last couple of picks, I kind of just had me like question marks. So, we drafted Burton as center, and I was like, okay, but I liked Brian Parker better. I felt like he could play guard and center, but that's what they said basically about Burton, that he could play guard or center, but I just think Parker was stronger than him. So, but I'm not, it is what it is. I think Burton was like athletic though, so that's why I was like, I'm not mad about that. I thought about it. I was like, okay, I get it. It makes sense. It ain't about what I want.
Well, and that's been something I've been looking at for a while now. I like Brian as well, Brian Parker. I think a lot of Packer fans did, but he's 305. So he is what the Packers used to want. Whereas now you got Burton, who is, 320 or something. So that's one of those things where if I'm doing a mock draft, if it's based on what I want, I go Brian Parker. If it's based on what I want / I think the Packers would actually draft, it would be Jagger Burton. So that's been kind of the delineation in my mind from the beginning.
It's about what the Packers feel is necessary.
Yeah.
And that ultimately is what I will say about everybody. I know people are going to be mad. People are going to be this and that. They didn't draft this person, didn't draft that person. But the Packers get paid to do this, and they're going to draft what's best for the team. So you got to remember that. And, it is what it is. It wasn't, and I'm pissed the Bears got like a couple of people that I wanted us to get.
Always.
Mainly Muhammad, but it is what it is. The Chiefs got a lot of people that I wanted us to get. So I was just tripping like, wow, they retooling and they ready for, a run. Them and surprisingly the Cowboys had a good draft, in my opinion. And that's not even looking at any draft grades. It's just based on positions and players they got. But what really shocked me was, I guess, the 6th round, because we got a cornerback. I know we need another cornerback, but I guess he's more like a safety type. I have to see if you talked about him again. I can't remember. But then us drafting the kicker is kind of like got me like, what? So I'm hoping that they get the backup QB in free agency if he doesn't get drafted, Nussmeier, I guess, or whatever. But anyway, don't get heartbroken, Packer fans. It is what it is. They're gonna do what's best, but we definitely need way more offensive linemen, and I think we fell short on that. But anyway, go Pack, go.
Well, yeah, and I'll say what I've said now 1,000 times. You're always going to come up short on something, right? I mean, if we got multiple offensive linemen, what are we leaving out? Do we leave out the second corner? Do we leave out the pass rusher? Do we leave, you know what I mean? It just is what it is. There's always a handful of things that it's like, I wish we would have done this, but we didn't. I don't know what else to say other than that. I mean, it is what it is. But, ultimately the biggest concerns that I had, they at least attempted, and, Cisse was not my guy at all. Sutton was not my guy at pass rush. None of them really were my guy. I mean, Burton kind of, but not really. It was just more so, again, he was my guy when you factor in a compromise with the Packers. I want a center guard guy. They want a 320-plus guy. There's your intersection. But they didn't really draft anybody that I personally wanted. I just am happy that they attacked the draft in a way that really addresses a lot of pain points for us. And now it's just a question of, are these guys any good at football? Because if they're not, it doesn't matter what they did. And also, if they are, it doesn't matter what they did, right? I wish they would have done this. Well, if they're good, nobody's going to be wishing that we had gotten somebody else. So that's what it all is going to come down to at the end of the day. So at this point, it's just excited about the offseason, the training camp, and all that to kind of get an idea for us to get our first look at these guys so that we can overreact at that point too. And then we'll overreact in the first year and whatever.
Oh, Ryan, we did it. We did it.
You did it, man.
Kyle from Madison, man. What's up?
What's up?
Unless we somehow traded into the 7th, it's over. It's over. We did it. I am absolutely not going to come on here and try to pretend like I watched film on all these guys, because especially this year I just didn't. Other than I watched a game of Cisse and then his highlights prior. So I was, I liked him yesterday. I called you. But I got to say, man, everybody's going to have their opinions, of course, but positionally, it's pretty hard to knock this draft. You know what I mean? Like, this is absolutely, I think when I talked to you yesterday, I was hoping they would go get a defensive tackle or an interior lineman. That's exactly what they did. Then they get a center who can play a couple positions. Another corner, they get Sutton, who I know some people really liked. I think he's cool. A lot of these guys are cool. They're athletically just like freaks. You know what I mean? You pick up another corner, and then, there's probably people in hysterics over picking a kicker, but you cannot look at what transpired last year in our kicking game and tell me that just because you signed your kicker for a few years that you should just be totally cool with what went down there. Also, I'm a big believer, especially with kickers, in last name, the power of last names. We had Longwell, so if you're going to get a kicker, you get the best kicker in the class, and his last name is Smack.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I could just, actually, no, now I'm just getting, like.
I was led astray by Savage, but I get your point.
I'm hearing Chris Collinsworth make stupid jokes. But outside of that, dude, I do feel like a kicker with the name Smack, let's bring him in. But I don't know, man. The draft just feels good for whatever that's worth. I didn't feel like there was any obvious, like, TJ Watt players we passed over, or what was the center? The Chiefs center. Freaking Free Humphrey, or, anything like that that's just, like, stuck in my craw a little. Like, everything felt pretty good. I liked that they traded up for the D tackle, too. I mean, I just feel like if they want somebody that bad, that Goody didn't want to part with a 5th rounder. So, they went up, they got their guy. So, I mean, that makes me feel better for what it's worth. They wanted their guy, they got him. So, all in all, man, it's going to be really fun. Look at these guys. They're freaks. The highlights I've seen so far look really fun. So, I think you got some good role players here, some competition at positions that we desperately need, and hopefully some starters. So, go Pack, go.
Yeah, I'm pumped, man. It's, again, I think that's part of the reason I've been so down on, and I'll talk about it tomorrow, on this whole consensus board thing. It's not that it doesn't have validity. It does. There's something to that, but I just these are our guys now. They're Packers now, and some of these guys are probably going to be very good. And I don't know who. I don't know who's going to be good. I don't know who's going to be bad. Whatever. But I'm excited to get to know these guys. I'm excited to start delving into it. I'm excited to start getting excited about these guys. And I don't want to piss and moan about, he could have been there a round later. Maybe, maybe not. I don't freaking know. I don't care. It's time to move on. If it ends up being a bad pick, then we can crucify him. But it's not where I'm at as far as my mentality at this point.
Hey, Ryan, Bear Cheese Benny. So it looks like we got Trace Mack And that's actually pretty awesome because I'm looking at some of my mock drafts here because I saved them all. Oh, actually, no, I don't think I ever did pick him. I did this one dumb thing where I just picked all kickers because it was like after the playoff game. I was like mad at McManus. I'm like, let's just draft all kickers. And Trace Mack was, I took him at 120. But no, I think that's good, man. Have another kicker on the roster here. And, you got to set yourself up because if McManus is done soon or if we move on from, we need somebody named, I think he's probably one of the better kickers, to be honest, from the draft. So, yeah, dude. Why not, man? Pretty good, my boy.
Yeah, and I'm excited that he, when you go look at him, he legitimately is a very good kicker. When we drafted Anders Carlson, it was very similar to the Josh Myers thing, where we took the guy in the second round. And it, again, nobody really liked that pick for several reasons. We liked the other guy better. It was a little bit too early of a pick. There's every reason, but on top of that, he just wasn't good in college when you look at his PFF grade and everything. It was the same with Anders Carlson. I remember when we drafted him just going, he's not good. I don't know what we're doing. It was our special teams coordinator, Rich Bisaccia, handpicked Anders Carlson because he worked with his brother and all kinds of stupid crap, but he wasn't good. This guy is like one of the best, if not the best kickers in college football. So it's a different kind of thing. He was far, at least in this draft class, he was far and away the best guy. I think Anders was, I don't know, was he like the second kicker taken? And it was not good. It just didn't really make sense. And I don't want to pretend that PFF is the be all end all, but it, when you reach for guys, or when you choose to pick this guy over the most popular guy, or when you take a thing like a kicker that is kind of a highly scrutinized thing, don't like compound your issues by making him a guy that misses field goals. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just that was rough. This is different. This is, you go look at his PFF. It's like, 90, 90, 90, and he makes all his, the joke that's been passed all around of, how do you judge a kicker? How do you grade or scout a kicker? And Brian Gutekunst just raises his arms like field goal good, and it's like, where were you on that with Anders Carlson, bro? Because he didn't make any kicks. But Smack's legit, dude. And you never freaking know. I'm not going to make any promises, but he's a damn good kicker. So, all right, let's take a break here. We got a bunch of Nico coming up. Nico from Idaho. We'll be right back. Just want to let you know, I officially have added the 2027. Well, I've added 2027 to the website being NFLDraftGrades.com. Just real quick on that. Yes, I've been kind of working on this as I've been doing, actually taking breaks, apparently. So when you go there, there is actually a big board, which is relevant now because NFLDraftGrades.com now puts their stuff behind a paywall. Makes my site even more interesting because it's not behind a paywall. So if you go to NFLDraftGrades.com, go to Big Board, there is just a giant big board and a selector. You can select 2027 and see 800 some odd prospects in order. You can create boards. When you create a board, you can create the 2027 board and import the 2027 players, et cetera, et cetera. Also, there is now a Packernet 2027 draft guide. And supposedly, I don't know, if you are subscribed to one, you'll have access to both. I'm hoping that works. I'm not going to pay for my own board to test it. So if you are subscribed to the 2026 board, if you wouldn't mind just checking the 2027 board to see if it works, that would be great. But I mentioned that I would be doing that, and I will. So step one is done, and now I just have to start working on those prospects and getting some of their info inputted. Anywho, let's continue with Nico.
Brian, how the heck are you? This is Nico.
Hello, Nico.
Headed out to do some work.
Okay, good.
And
working man.
I believe the draft is over. I kind of skimmed over what we got today. And you're right. What you said this morning, like after the first 2 picks, I'm kind of glad with whatever. I think the last time we went 2 cornerbacks, I think was Jair and Josh Jackson.
Yeah.
And really only one of those panned out. So if we can get one of these guys to pan out, I'll prefer it to be the younger cat. The first guy we got, Brandon, CC's Pizza or whatever his name is. But if the second guy, pans out too, the better, more the merrier, I am a little surprised they only got 1 offensive lineman. I looked last night. Looks like Pittsburgh got Mr. Dunker. So he's, how it is. You like someone, you kind of follow him for a while after they get drafted to another team. He'll probably be one I'm always looking at. I'm a little surprised. And they got a center, so the Packers, they move everyone around. I mean, it'd be great if he came in and was good. That would be great, I like the defensive guy we picked in number 2, that tackle. And you're right, there was people complaining about those picks last night, and I was like, I mean, why argue with them? Because they're dumb. I was a little surprised they moved up to get a kicker, but 7th round picks are usually crap. If they traded 2 7th rounders to move up and get a kicker that they liked, and he's decent, and he works out in the long run, then heck yeah, it's worth it. So, we'll see. I am also surprised they didn't get a running back, because I think, receiver, we got some depth. Quarterback, and really the depth is Jordan Love. It was a luxury to have Malik Willis last year. We didn't really know how good he was until, we used him. But I think running back, we have Josh Jacobson. Who else? The one guy we got who's been injured for 3 years, I expect nothing from him. We got rid of Mr. Wilson. I thought they'd pick a running back in the draft, even, 5th, 6th round. I'm sure they will sign a ton. Well, they'll get a bunch of UDFAs in. And, that's the one position. I mean, if you're going to not draft something because you want to wait.
He timed out there. let me just, because I don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over again in terms of, I wish we had done this. Maybe a different way to think of it is there anything we drafted that you felt like we didn't need? Because that would be the only thing, if you felt like we wasted a pick somewhere, that could have been better used somewhere else. But 2 corners, everybody went into this draft saying we probably need 2 corners. So I don't think that was a waste. Defensive tackle clearly was a need. Offensive line clearly was a need. You could argue kicker, I guess, but I don't think that would be a wasted pick unless you believe that we have the guy that we need, which, again, I'm pretty sure I was the only one that felt that way. So, and then we got a pass rusher. So I don't know if every pick we had, you go into it and you say, yes, that's good, we needed that, then it is what it is in terms of, we didn't get other things, but we already know we can't get everything. It would have been nice if we got 2 corners, 2 to 3 offensive linemen, a running back, a tight end, a wide receiver, a pass rusher, a backup quarterback, defensive tackle, linebacker, and multiple corners. But we didn't have 17 picks. So, it is what it is.
I think that running back is probably the position you most likely could get a good dude anytime. I know certain positions it kind of matters, the higher the better, but I'm not saying, drafting a dude top in the first round doesn't help. But, there's been plenty of guys, 5th, 6th, 7th round on UDFAs that come out and do good. So, but anyways, can't wait to watch all of this progress. I'm back now to being bored with football because now there's really nothing to look forward to. I don't get excited about, OTAs.
Yeah.
Organized team activities. They're kind of lame, but it's just something to hear about. So as usual, I'll love the first day, then after that I hate it. It's like, when they start practicing the pads, every day it's like, this guy's so good, and it's cool and all, but how many players have looked amazing, in training camp and then are bust? So I just at least wait the preseason, which I think, like a lot of people, first game's cool, then after that I just don't want people to get hurt. But you still want to see some stuff, I still think Wilson's, the one run he had that he bounced out and just looked amazing on that run. I think that run himself his talent overall, but that run himself might have, kept him on the team for a while. So anyways, we're on to the next chapter of the football season, and we'll see all the, I don't know, do they post the UDFAs like today, or is it like a couple days later? I think it's usually a fast kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very fast.
I will say that everyone they draft today, I did not watch any tape on. I pretty much only scouted running backs, as per your commands. And we didn't get none of them. So like I said, we didn't get none of the ones I like. We'll see what we can. They have to. I would assume that they're going to have running back as a priority in, undrafted free agents. And like I said, that's a position you can find some stuff down there. So, hey, let's go Pack, go. And talk to you.
Yeah, running back is another position I think we care about more than they do, because they are not of the opinion that Marshawn Lloyd is basically a wasted pick. I think they're of the opinion that he's had some unfortunate luck, but he's a third-round pick that they think is a very good running back, and so they still believe in him being that dude. So we have Josh Jacobs, who obviously is very good. We have Marshawn Lloyd, who they believe will be good for us. And we also just have several years between now and whenever. Let's say in 3 years, maybe we don't have Josh. It could be next year, but I don't know that they feel a lot of pressure at running back as compared to other positions. As evidenced by the fact that I think we got one UDFA at running back. They're just not worried about it. As to your other point about just not being interested in all these other things, I will again encourage you to try to get excited about this stuff. And the reason being, you can rationally say things don't matter, but that doesn't end. You can do that forever. So, for example, this does, and we play this game. So when they first get out there, we're all excited. And then after about 5 seconds, we say, well, it doesn't matter until the pads get on. And then when the pads come on, we say it doesn't matter until the preseason. Then we say it doesn't matter because it's the preseason. It only matters in the regular season. Then the regular season happens, and we say it doesn't matter until several weeks in because the first few weeks don't really matter. And then it doesn't. Then none of this matters. What matters is the postseason. And then that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the Super Bowl. So we can reduce this down to nothingness very, very quickly to where nothing actually matters. And that's not true. It all matters. This is what Bears fans want to do because the Packers win all their regular season games or win regular season games, but they don't win playoff games or Super Bowls or whatever. Okay, but I'm not going to reduce my enjoyment of a Packers win in the regular season to the fact that that didn't ultimately culminate to a Super Bowl. That's stupid. I just enjoy football. I enjoy Packers football. And so all of this is Packers football. And that includes the training camp, the offseason, and all that. And again, we could say it doesn't matter, but the doesn't matter game ultimately always ends up back to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, it's some arbitrary stopping point for people where it's like, well, I decided that it matters, the regular season matters because I want it to matter or something. At the end of the day, this is entertainment, and it's meant to be fun, and it is fun. The NFL draft is fun. All of this stuff is fun. And, we should enjoy a regular season win in week 2 without having to reduce it down to, well, it doesn't matter. Let's be patient. Let's wait and see what happens by week 6, which doesn't matter because week 6 is arbitrary nonsense because week 6 doesn't. We paint this picture that the first few weeks don't matter. And then from week 4 through the end of the season, you're the exact same team. You're never the same team from week to week. So at week 6, you've learned nothing. And your team might start winning all their games. They might lose all the rest of their games. So again, None of it actually matters. You can go undefeated, and then guess what? It doesn't matter, because what matters is what shows up in the playoffs. And if you get to the playoffs and you lose right away, then none of that mattered. That's not true. It all mattered. When I jumped up and down with frickin' barbecue sauce all over my shirt because I'm slamming ribs and cheering for the Packers, that frickin' mattered. It all mattered. All the times that we had fun cheering and screaming and getting excited for Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre-led teams that didn't culminate in postseason wins and Super Bowl wins, I'm not going to pretend that none of that actually mattered. So then why does it matter? What actually does give value to these things? The fact that we're Packer fans and these things are fun. And so then we can start doing that in the other direction. I'm not going to tell you that because something happened in training camp that means really much of anything other than it's enjoyable, so enjoy it. Because nothing can tell you anything. Even you can't even say wait until the regular season. Because a guy can play really, really well the first several weeks of the season. He could play well the first entire season and not be good the rest of his career. We don't know anything. So guess what? I don't have to wait for a damn thing. I can enjoy what I have today. And if what I have today is a really good training camp, then I'm going to enjoy it. And I don't need to be explained to that, well, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, I know it doesn't mean anything. Nothing means anything. But I'm enjoying this. And I'm allowed to enjoy it. And I should enjoy it. And you should enjoy it, Nico. Don't get up in your head about this. Well, it doesn't actually matter, so I'm not going to enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it for the same reason a week 1 victory over the Bears means nothing, but you enjoyed it anyways. Enjoy it for the same reason that Caleb Williams looking like dog crap in the preseason doesn't mean anything, but you enjoy it anyways. Rookies coming out and dominating in OTAs are fun, and it's awesome. And you should allow yourself to enjoy that. All right, let's take our final break. We got a couple more Nicos on the other side.
What up, Ryan? This is Nico. So coming home from work tonight, it wasn't super busy, so I had a little time to do some looking at stuff. When I tell you, the more I look at it, the more I really like this draft. It's like, it just seems solid, you know? Like looks like we got the most physically talented cornerback. We got like a tackle with the most sacks. Even that edge rusher we got, which, you know, it's funny. Every time we would get like a free agent, you know, and you'd read what people say, and as far as what people say that work in the industry, you know, I don't trust a lot of people in the industry as much as I used to. Honestly, I got better intel from like looking at comments in like stuff people post on social media, because you'll have a lot of like, for instance, when we got that linebacker out of I think Arizona, I forget his name. It's the one that he turned into a Pro Bowl, paid him, and then he kind of sucked. Then he talked trash about it. It's like, okay, whatever. Everyone was, you know, like the pundits, the NFL people were like, oh, he's good, oh, he's bad. And so I just started reading a lot of stuff about him online, like from comments, and a lot of Arizona fans said they liked him. So that to me means something, you know? So apparently a lot of people that are fans of, I guess this Penn State was one of the colleges that edge rusher went to, said they really liked him a lot. So I'm going to look more at his highlights, but you know, highlights don't tell everything. And if I had a highlight reel of my sports life, it would be amazing. I mean, because the highlight reel was cool. The rest of the stuff, not so much, right? I don't know. I just think we're, you know, this might be good. A lot of good, you know, depth, which, let's face it, we need. It's funny thinking about, you know, the free agency stuff. A lot of people give Goody just crap because he hasn't. I mean, he's definitely had some good draft picks, right? First year with Jair, Love, you know, Zach Tom, Tucker Kraft, Christian Watson, even Romeo Dobbs. I mean, people really only look at the mega hits.
Right.
They don't really look at guys like, for instance, Valdez Scantling. He was decent. Played. I think he might be still playing, or he was playing last year. And he wasn't about a 5th or 6th rounder.
Yep.
The dude won a Super Bowl. Didn't he win a Super Bowl with the team? I think. You know, So he's really got a lot of decent picks.
Final Nico call.
When people are grading a GM, they don't think of guys like Scanlon, who, weren't like, they just think of superstars, right? But I think what he's done better than most GMs is get good talent, in free agency. Now, I will say last year was the worst year. So with recency bias, people are like, oh, he got Hobbs, he got that Kennard.
Right.
Piece of crap. Yeah, that was not the best too. And it can be a crapshoot, but a lot of free agents he's got in the past have been pretty good. So I mean, if you can't be the best drafter, if you can get good free agents, and he tends to get them at a decent cost, maybe not Kennard, but it is what it is. So I think we got some good depth. And I know I sent you that picture of Tucker Kraft, and I see it's kind of making the rounds. For those of you who haven't seen it, there's a picture floating around of Tucker Kraft carrying some stuff, like some weights. Dude looks jacked. He looks like frickin' Miles Garrett. I mean, all right, maybe have a little time off. He was able to go to the gym and become the Hulk, for crying out loud. And which I don't think will slow him down at all. I mean, if he just comes out jacked as crap, I tell you what, he didn't like to be tackled by cornerbacks last year. He's really going to be like it now. And the dude, I have no doubt that he is going to be like ready week one. Like no doubt that after looking at that one picture, yeah. Dude looks like he rented a muscle suit, for crying out loud. I'm just jacked. I'm stoked. I can't wait to look at some highlights tomorrow of all the stuff. Of course, you have to do a thing where you tell us what you think and do an intense deep dive on each pick we got. Okay. I guess we traded up twice this year, which I was kind of surprised. I thought he'd go back to get more stuff. But I guess that kicker is supposed to be one of the better kickers of the college. If that's the case, totally worth it. And if that second round or the second pick we got that we traded up for, if he ends up being good, totally worth it. So, what did we trade? 2 second round picks, Christian Watson, worth it. So worth it. Who did you trade for Jordan Love? I don't even care. It's worth it, right? So as long as they're good, trade up is totally worth it. Hey, go Pack, go! Can't wait to look at stuff and hear what everybody else has to say. Peace.
Yeah, I might have to do that. Do sort of a, again, I like, as I said, I like the draft. I'm very happy with everything that happened. But as far as a full disclosure kind of like what do you really think kind of thing, it might be kind of fun to do sort of a redraft right away and say what would you have done in this spot differently. Just to kind of put it on record, because again, none of these guys were my guy. So, fully content, but maybe we'll do that just for, again, we got a long off season, so we have some time to kind of screw around and look at stuff. I might as well do that. Drew, what's going on?
Hey Ryan, Drew from Green Bay, and day 3 is over. We started with Dennis Sutton, and on the edge, and I didn't really want an edge coming into day 3. I mentioned that, and I wanted a tight end. We didn't get a tight end, and we did get an edge. But, looking at what was on the board and just, there are some other guys maybe I had some interest in, but I can't really complain with a guy that is at a premium position that has a great RAS score that, played for a big school, and I think he's got a lot to work on, but the tools are all there. So I'm not going to really complain about getting that. I would, when people are saying second round, no way, not for me, but a 4th round, I can't throw a fit. Mm-hmm. And then in the 5th round, we got Jagger Burton, and I just think, I think he was perfect for what the Packers need. He's played right guard, left guard, and center, and he's a little bit bigger of a center. I think we're getting him to play center. He's a little bit bigger, so that's matching, and it gives us flexibility. Maybe he wins a spot and Sean Ryan goes to right tackle, or maybe Sean Ryan becomes a backup. Otherwise, maybe he backs up all three interior spots. But he is supposed to be really intelligent, 5-star recruit, I think he was, and coaches said they like the Kentucky offensive line coach. So I don't know. I think there's a lot there to work with. Damani Jackson in the 6th round, not a fan at all. He got benched. He was horrible. He's like athletic guy, just not a fan. But then we come back and get Trey Smack, the Florida kicker, and I love him. This dude can boot him. He's very consistent. He's consistent from all ranges. And I'm sure he can work on some stuff, but he's very good. People say he's from Florida, but he grew up in Maryland, and he did learn kicking in the cold from when he was in high school and all that. And just like, he's a special talent. Florida's always got good kickers on good special teams. So, we're getting cheaper, and maybe we can trade McManus, but he didn't kick well. He's had character issues and all that. So, in the past, and, he's getting old. Let's move on, get younger. And, I really like that pick of Trey Smack. So, we got the best kicker in the class. So why complain about that? And I'll hang up and call back real quick.
Yeah, I'll give you the final call here, but just on that point, again, I'm kind of just finding creative ways to say the same thing over and over again. But another way to kind of view it is, I like what they did positionally, and I'm going to, at least for now, trust that they got the right guys. Because again, they weren't exactly my guys, but as far as you go corner, then defensive tackle, the run defending defensive tackle. Then you go out and get a pass rusher, and then you get an offensive lineman, and then you get your second corner, and then you get the best kicker in the class. Like, I'm excited about the way they went about this. Are these guys going to suck? Maybe. I mean, again, none of them were really super on my radar. Some of them were for different reasons. Again, Jagger Burton, because it just felt like he was a good Packer guy and whatever. But that's kind of the game I'm playing right now. I love the way they attacked it. I hope that they got the right guys in each of these slots.
All right, Drew from Green Bay, part 2, and I did want to talk about undrafted free agents a little bit. So from what I'm seeing now, we have 10 guys signed, and 3 of them are interior offensive linemen. 4 of the guys were previous visits, and 2 of them are tight ends. And so that tells me that they're still looking for guards, which means we're probably playing Burton at center. And maybe Getsky can play center, because it did list him as an interior offensive lineman and not just a guard. But the tight end RJ Maryland, a lot of people really like him. He's got a lot of potential, and so that's an interesting signing that, if we get him on the team, maybe he does play pretty quickly and and fill in some key snaps. But I just thought it was interesting. I felt like our undrafted free agents were really concentrated in kind of a few positions, and almost all entirely on offense. So I don't know if we can make anything of that, but there it is. All right, bye.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, there are a limited amount of slots, so it does make sense that you'd want to kind of attack what you feel are your remaining needs. At the same time, there's only a certain pile of guys that you really want, and you're also just kind of attacking, and it's a question of which ones can you get. You know what I mean? It could be the case that, you reach out to 20 guys, and these are the 10 that agreed to come to you as how many, another way to put it is, how many guys did you call and really, really want to come to your team, and they went to one of the other 31 teams? You know what I mean? And these are just kind of the best that you had on your list that were also willing to come to Green Bay. It also would kind of make sense that it would be need-based based on, the agents have to decide what would be a good team to go to. And if you're looking at a position that is loaded, you're more likely to tell your guy, hey, don't go to Green Bay. There's no point in going to Green Bay. If you're a backup quarterback, sure, give it a shot. Green Bay wouldn't be a terrible place to go. They don't really have anything solidified there. If you're a running back, maybe, depending on the agent's perception of Marshawn Lloyd or whatever, maybe it's not a great spot. Obviously, they really like Chris Brooks, so maybe they'd look at it and say they already have 3 guys. I don't know, but you get my point. It probably means something, but we can't know that it necessarily means anything. But I am happy with it, and I do think we definitely need to continue attacking offensive line, whether it be for starting or for depth. And so we'll see. Hopefully, every year all we're doing is going and getting a pile of guys, some of them through the draft, some through UDFAs, some of them in the mini camp. We got to pay attention to some of those too. But, again, it's just a pile of guys, and hopefully some of these guys can make our team better, because I like our team. But, better is better. That's so profound. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. You all have a good rest of your day. Again, if you're, I know for most of us, it's screw the draft, I'm done with it now. I barely cared when it was happening, but for those a little bit more diehard or whatever, we are going to begin the 2027. As far as the draft show on here, obviously I kind of gave that up. Towards the end, it was a little bit too much. I may do something more along the lines of a once a week kind of a thing, geared toward the 2027 draft. Maybe just kind of looking at to the future, what are the Packers' remaining needs and those kinds of things. Kind of, whatever. So, anywho, I will leave you with that. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.